Welcome back. NIO numbers are down, the stock is down, it's trading at lows, and I have let you down. So I didn't make a video for quite some time. Lots of talking points, and I need to explain why I haven't made a video. So all of this will be covered in this video. By the way, greetings, I'm now in Shenzhen. I used to be in Shanghai before, but now I just made the move. These are the last couple of days that I'm in China actually. So this is also parts of the reason why my videos haven't been as frequent, which is I have lots of meetings every day and lots of projects that I need to finish before I can wrap things up here. And this actually frankly means that I didn't have the time to closely follow even the stock movement of NIO or other Chinese stocks that are covered here on the channel, and therefore I really had a hard time really commenting on stuff like that, because I frankly prefer to be well informed before I go out and say something, and have a little bit more to say before I do so. So this is also kind of reflecting my personal style, I would say, in terms of that I don't really like to comment on everything that's happened on a daily side, because as you know, and I'm emphasizing this here countless times, I'm here for the long run, and frankly it is also not my main source of income, right? So I'm not making a lot of money with YouTube. I really do appreciate our patrons who are, you know, sponsoring this channel so that it can stay free, authentic, and I don't have to push advertisement with every video that I'm doing to you guys, and that helps me keep on going and doing this work. But other than that, of course, I'm also doing some consulting projects right on the side, and this from time to time needs a little bit more of a focus. So I hope you understand this context and why this actually caused me to make less videos. But actually I uploaded like 3 videos on Patreon, so feel free to join the Patreon community for some exclusive content from time to time, and also my takes from now and then in the group discussions, of course, as well as posting articles from time to time. So enough of that. I think we have to talk about NIO Stock, which of course now you know I'm not doing those videos whenever stock is down or if it's up, so this is not kind of my basis, but as I mentioned, I'm more about really checking the fundamentals of the company, and this is what I'm also like most concerned here when I've been to the Shanghai Auto Show, checking all of the competitors. I've been talking to NIO users almost on a daily basis quite recently, really in-depth conversations. I've done lots of test rides, and this is more of a concern to me than, for example, the more short-term news that we get, which is of course, for example, deliveries, which are low. So yesterday I think we had the 6,000 deliveries, monthly deliveries, which frankly are disappointing by my own standards, in terms of that I actually thought NIO could do better at this point in time already, but I haven't. So I also don't want to say that these are great numbers. No, they are not great, because they are also losing share or steam against competitors, right? Now there are different explanations for it, and I'm sure you have heard a lot about them, like factories are being retooled, the economic macro environment here, things that are going on here with price cuts in the auto industry. So different types of explanations here, but what matters more to me is like the underlying things that are really valuable for the stock investment thesis, and the main business assumptions. And So here I'm actually not in the views that a lot has changed so far. Of course, NIO is and remains a risky investment. It's a startup. It's pre-profitability. So the big question for NIO, of course, remains whether or not, with the existing cash position, can and will they achieve profitability, and at which point, of course, they might be able to finance their whole growth in the future by themselves. So this is, of course, the main issue for NIO to tackle. And on the one hand side, we've got good news coming up, like the new models that are being launched will certainly help to boost the existing sales or the future sales. And what we just got as a news today about Tesla raising prices, I think that tells us a little bit more about the more macroeconomic picture here, in which Tesla sends the message, for one, that Chinese consumers shouldn't be waiting for more price cuts. Maybe they will never come. And second, that maybe the order books start getting more filled, not because of the price cuts and expanding the total addressable market, but instead because the Chinese economy is picking up. So here it's actually a holiday week right now, and it's super busy here. If I'm going to the main city center, and the malls, they are fully packed. Everyone is out and about and consuming and spending and enjoying themselves, which is, of course, it makes a lot of sense after what's been going on last year especially. But we also have to always remember that China hasn't had a very long period of lockdowns. Instead, for example, like Germany, instead people could really live here without lots of issues for quite a long time, actually. So anyways, I think we will see some sort of a rebound in the second half of the year, and I guess this is also where the NIO management is pointing us with their takes of when a recovery might happen. Now, will this be enough for NIO stock to turn around? I think what NIO needs to regain at this point in time is the trust of investors. And do they have it still? I would say the stock price doesn't tell that story. It's rather saying, like, basically pricing NIO almost for bankruptcy in a way. If you look at the price sales multiples, if you look cash to book ratio and stuff like that, or price to book ratio, these kind of things, it's quite incredible, the valuation right now. But on the other hand, you can always argue that in case that NIO doesn't execute successfully in the second half of the year, things could get quite difficult for the company, right? And Li Bin actually warned us for that. So I guess investors are kind of on the safe side right now. If you look at the macro environment or the stock markets in general, at risk assets like crypto, ARK Invest, emerging markets, Chinese stocks, all of them are really at recent low points. It's not only the NIO stock, it's actually what I'm always saying in the Patreon community, 70% where NIO currently is, I think, is driven by the macro environment, and only 30% about the company, although we usually discuss like it's the other way around and trying to find explanations for the stock price, mostly around what the company is doing. But I think the general theme here is actually that investors in this environment where they can have much lower risk yield, much higher yield with lower risk involvement, why would you take on risk, right? So there needs to be a bottoming out process. And actually, in case of NIO, that even, I think, will mean that people who invested in NIO because they thought this is going to be the Tesla of China, they will be washed out by the time that NIO recovers, if it recovers, because of the, of course the company needs to fundamentally turn around and or execute on their vision. I would say the fundamentals are actually still in line with the case, the break-even case currently, so it can still work that way. Yeah. Anyway, so I think risk assets in general are not looking great, are at lows, and NIO is part of that. And at the same time, it's interesting to see the S&P 500 trading at recent highs. So this really tells you everything about the risk appetite of investors right now. They can certainly just have the money parked in a bank and get like 45% in the yields. So why should you buy NIO, right? Or why should you get into Chinese stocks? But of course, this is just my personal take, and this is not investment advice, but it's just my personal view. I think at some point in time this will switch, and it might switch very quickly. Maybe at a point in time where we get the clarity that the Fed will not longer raise rates or something else. But at some point, when it's sexy again to pile into this trade, then I think it can go up very, very fast. Very fast indeed. So will you be able to pick exactly this bottom? Where is it for NIO? I mean, lots of people are talking about stock prices and where it go. Some people say it's 5, some people say it's 3, some people say it's 7, some people say it has already bottomed. This is not how I'm looking at things usually. Of course, luckily I got in much earlier and at a much lower price. So this is why at such periods I'm usually not looking too often at the stock price actually, and just have my longer view in mind. And for me, that's still the Hefei agreement, where I think NIO management is actually looking at and wants to fulfill that agreement. And if you haven't been around my channel for the time when I explained that one, I think that was in 2019, what this means for NIO, then maybe rewatch that video, because I think it's telling you everything where NIO will be heading in terms of models, in terms of revenue targets and so on, and what will this mean for the company, and what is my personal stock price target for that, aligned with that. So yes, this is where my personal opinion is for NIO in general. I hope you like this quick update here from Shenzhen in China. I'm now enjoying my last couple of days here in China before having to head back to Europe again. Thanks for being patient with me and the channel, and then see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.